Hello and welcome to another Mountain View Softwash video, and today we are in Northern Windsor dealing with another home that has Hardie Board. In today's video though, we're going to do something a little bit different. As you can see, I've got three off-the-shelf products here that I purchased. One at Home Depot, one at Lowe's, and then I went on to Amazon and I found this bad boy, this Simple Green professional cleaner for the DIY person. So the reason I want to do this video is I've had a couple people ask, well, what's the difference of just going and buying an off-the-shelf product versus hiring you to come out there? Obviously, price is going to be one of them. I mean, we're looking at a product that here is just under $8. We have another one that's just under, I think, $20. And then this one here, the Simple Green, is under $30. So a pretty affordable way to DIY a house wash for yourself. But I wanted to put these to the test and see how well they worked with cleaning Hardie Board. Hardie Board is a cement fiber board that is, in my experience, probably one of the trickiest ones to clean, especially here in Colorado where we have a lot of dirt, a lot of construction dirt, especially in these newer areas. The problem I'm seeing with the Hardie Board is that when the dirt gets caked onto the side of the house, it bakes on. And it's very difficult to remove that fine layer. And what we are talking about is a fine layer of dirt. The thicker layer of dirt we can remove with our normal Softwash process. The problem that I've seen though is once we've done the wash, in the direct light, the fine layer of dirt that's left on there makes it look still dirty. So regardless of how much we've washed, without scrubbing it, the home still looks pretty dirty and, in my opinion, just unsatisfactory as far as like a deep cleaning on your home. So these products here claim that you can, in this case, the Scott's Outdoor Cleaner House and Siding, it is a zero scrub technology. So I don't know if they're referring to the vinyl siding or roofs that maybe have some mold or algae buildup, and then you can leave it on there, you don't have to scrub it. I think that's what they're referring to here, but if you read deeper into their label, they talk about how it removes dirt, grime, the whole 9 yards, again using their zero scrub technology. So for just under $9, I can't remember exactly what I paid for that. It seemed pretty reasonable. You hook your garden hose up to it, you spray it down, you saturate it really well. They say to let it dry on there. I wouldn't recommend that in the case of what we're trying to do here, but maybe again, if you're trying to remove mold and algae, you want to let it sit on there, let it dwell, and let the product go ahead and kill those organic growths. I think that's what they're referring to here. I just don't have faith that this is going to go spray on, leave it, and have the dirt come off with just a basic rinse on there. So we'll see. I'm kind of skeptical on that one. The next is another Scott's product. This is an outdoor cleaner, multi-purpose, super safe for plants. The reason I bought this one is that if you look closely on here, that actually has a picture of Hardie Board. This is what we're dealing with today, and dirt. So they say it's safe, it's easy to apply, it's a concentrate. They did, again, in the label, mention how it will lift dirt off the siding. Again, I'm a little skeptical, but we're going to put that to the test as well and see how well that product actually can lift the dirt, and if it will lift the dirt off the Hardie Board. And final but not least, this Simple Green with OxySolve. This is a total outdoor cleaner, highly concentrated for the professional user, the DIY. I guess if you're looking to, I don't know, maybe go into business for yourself. I don't know. It just says get professional results. So maybe it's not for the professional user, but I mean, it's something you can buy. It's meant to work with pressure washers. It's meant to work as a downstreamer. Where downstreaming is basically you have your pressure washer at the end of the wand, you have a tube that goes into that, and then it goes into your tank or a 5-gallon bucket, whatever you're using to mix this. And as the water's coming out of the pressure washer, it sucks some of that soap, that concentrate up, and then sprays that on the house. Now, the problem I've seen with that before is that you don't get very consistent results as far as the amount of being able to control the amount of product. You can dial it and kind of get an idea of how much you're putting on there, but it will vary depending how much pressure's in the line, how much water's going through. I think you get the point. So with our system, we don't do any of that. We actually blend everything before we send it down the line, so we get an exact blend of all of our chemicals. We know exactly what's getting put in the line, and that way we can vary it on the fly. but we get more consistency, a little more accurate results. So we are going to put these to the test, and we're going to start from this simple spray on to the more, I would say, semi professional, or maybe the more advanced DIY kind of application, and see how these products work. So kind of fun today, a little interesting. Hopefully we get this done all today. It's a pretty big house, but without further ado, let's get to it, and we'll check out to see how good these products work. This is the house we're dealing today. Again, I misspoke. I thought this was a burgundy. It was a house I did not too far from here. So it's like a darker gray, a little bit lighter tone than the black, but it does have a lot of hue just from the built up dirt. Not too sure if this will come up on camera or not, but you can see just how bad that is. And this is just construction dust. It's just baked on. It's really difficult to move off. Customer said they tried to spray it off. Obviously that's not going to work. They thought about pressure washing it, told them that's a bad idea. Hardie Board doesn't like pressure. Plus, another thing that most people don't understand about Hardie Board vinyl siding, this is just to deter water or redirect water away from the house. It's not waterproof. So under here, these little sections, they're pretty tight, but if you're hitting this at the wrong angle and you're spewing water, like if you look, there's a big gap right there, and someone comes in with a pressure washer and they're hitting it and they're trying to clean all this, they're pushing water underneath these boards. Again, this isn't waterproof. This is just to divert water away from the house. It's designed to have water come in from the top and then kind of layer itself down and eventually wash itself away. It's not meant to have water sprayed. You know, even if you're using like a 2000 PSI or, you know, even 1500 PSI, you're going to push water under these, and these start running into different problems. You can either damage the board itself, or you get water up in the siding, dirt from the backside, hopefully dries out soon enough. There's just a lot of issues that can come up with that. So as I mentioned, we are in a neighborhood, a sea of Hardie Board homes, and this seems to be a common, popular siding for all these new home builders because it's pretty durable and it's extremely affordable. So, and it looks good. So we're going to tackle this bad boy today. Let me walk you around this section we're going to do all this testing on. I got my ladder up here because unfortunately, in order to get all this up here, I got to get up there. I'm not excited about that. Hate being on ladders, but it is what it is. So you can see from this angle, I'm going to turn the camera the other way here. You've got just a nice, beautiful hue of dirt that's sitting on there. Now I can move that with my finger. Common sense would think, well, I just spray that down with water, it will grab it and take it off, but that has not been our experience. So we've used our surfactants. We lift the majority of the dirt off, but there's always this fine layer. In order to get that thing clean, and I'll be repetitive today, you have to scrub it based on my experience. So this is the experiment. This is what I've got lined up. I'm gonna do our $8 bottle of Scott's no scrub technology, zero scrub technology on this side of the house, mainly because it's dirty. Got a little bit lighter coat here. This section we're going to probably use for our Scott's. It's got a lot of heavy buildup. Or not the Scott's, I'm sorry, it's the simple green. That one's got the professional grade, off the shelf professional grade cleaner. It says it's going to lift the dirt and grime right off the house. So I'm really excited to see that one. And then we'll leave this one for the middle one, which is about a $15 bottle. This is the Scott's multi-purpose, again, claiming no scrub, lifts the dirt off, it's supposed to work excellent. And then I'm going to take this challenge side for our process and show you how this all works. We got a lot of heavy dirt buildup. So I'm going to clean this section with our products, our soaps, our surfactants, and then we'll have to brush it down because that's how I found this is going to work. So I will tell you this though, if I get over here and one of these products really starts to work, guess what? I am going to use that product on the entire home without hesitation. If it can save me time, I'll adjust the pricing for the customer. It'll save them money. They'll be happy. Everybody's happy. So we're going to get that I got this section here. I've already told the customer this section up here is extremely difficult to get to. You got 3 levels here. This roof doesn't seem as steep as it looks on camera, but trust me, when I get up there to get this section here and this over here, it's pretty steep. So this is an area we're just not going to be able to get. You know, I don't have the proper ladders to get that high up. It's something I don't want to do that high up. The customer understands. So we're going to split the difference here. We'll get this as clean as we can. Obviously, we'll soft wash up here and try to get as much dirt. Honestly, from the customer's perspective, the front of the house, the south side of the house, which is where we're going to do our experiment, is the most important to them. They don't really care about the top. Obviously, down here, when they're enjoying the patio, having friends and family over, they want that clean. And then we're going to hit the north side here. And again, we got this great layer of dirt. I think I explained in my other video, you know, this is like gold mining riffles. You know, as the wind spins up, the dirt is getting clogged underneath these lap boards in very heavy caked sections. So we're going to tackle that as well. I'm honestly excited to try this out. And again, if this stuff actually works, then I'm going to adapt and reconfigure everything. The idea is to give the customers the best results, right? So if it's my process or if it's another process, then that's what we'll do. I've had people tell me, well, just use a pressure washer on this, it'll get it right off. No, it won't. I've had contractors, builders come up to me and say, I've had my guys pressure washing these houses, trying to get them fully clean prior to closing so they can, the new customer or the new homeowners could take possession, excuse me, and they cannot get them clean. So what does that tell you? It doesn't work. For one, you shouldn't be using a pressure washer on siding. 2, it doesn't work. You have to go through a process. You have to apply chemicals that will grab the majority of the dirt, and then you have to scrub it, in my experience. So we're going to give these a shot. I'm going to get the first bad boy fit up here. Outdoor house cleaning, and let's see what this guy can do. Alrighty guys, so we're back here. We're all set up. Not much too much setup on this. I have a water hose hooked up. I'm going to hook it up to the bottle. So according to the instructions, this is a spray on, get it super saturated. You let it dry, which is okay, kind of interesting. So we're going to do exactly what the directions do. Kind of coming from perspective of a homeowner wanting to get their house clean with not a whole lot of experience, but we're going to give it a shot. So plug it in. They said make sure the surface is completely dry. Obviously we have a completely dry surface. It's not that hot. It's a little warm, but it's not that hot, so I don't feel like I need to do a pre-soak on that. Usually when it gets pretty hot, we wet it down first, cool it down, and then we apply our application in sections so it doesn't flash and then dry. We got residual soaps and stuff to deal with. So I'm kind of interested why this is designed to dry, but okay, so apply it, get it soaked, let it dry. It says do not rinse till it's completely dry, maybe 10-15 minutes, and then we'll give it a rinse. The instructions say do not use this around plants. I totally agree. It's probably got some compounds in there, maybe some bleach or some SH or of some sort that potentially can damage plants. So I'm going to turn the garden hose on here and we'll get going. Oh, that's a thick stream there. All right, so I'm just kind of applying this according to their label here, but I was hoping to have a little bit more of a fan tip. It says get it extremely saturated, so that's what we're going to do. I have a feeling on a house this big, we'd probably need multiple bottles. So let's see what we're gonna get here. So we're gonna let that dry. So I can see that it's actually lifting the dirt, which is good. That's what I would expect. Now the trick is my stuff lifts the dirt as well. I mean, this is no different than how I see it when I use our product. The problem is that it's lifted, but it's not moving off the house. And even if you use water, it won't rinse off. So we have to scrub it to let the soap soak into it, get the dirt, and then we can rinse it off, and then we get really good results. So we're gonna let that dry, and we'll see what that does there. I'm gonna get set up. I'm gonna load the pump sprayer up with that second product. I'll show you that process as well. All right, so as that's drying, that's our I think it's $8, a little bit under $9 maybe. Scott's Zero Scrub technology. As that's drying, we're gonna go ahead and load up our IK9, our Multi-Pro 9 professional pump sprayer. I'll talk about this guy in a different video. These are fantastic. They're one of the best pump sprayers in the market, in my opinion. So this is a Scott's Outdoor Cleaner multi-purpose, super safe for plants. And it says it's a 1-to-1. So we're gonna do 16 ounces to 16 ounces of water because we don't have that big of a section to work with. Let me get sure this is cleaned out. I think we had some residual gutter butter in there from an oxidation removal we did, so I'm not too worried about that being in there, but we'll get all that out. And we're going to do 16 to 16 here. It's a 1-to-1. I'm just doing a small section, so I don't need very much because I'm going to have to come back and re-clean the pump sprayer. And then we're going to do the simple green test on another section. So, now the instructions say, you know, obviously if you're doing a bigger house, you want to do a half a gallon with a half a gallon of cleaner, with a half gallon of cleaner, half gallon of water. So 1-to-1. This is what they consider their extreme surface contaminant. So if it's extreme, they want you to do 1-to-1, and then they break it down where if it's got a little bit less dirt, a little bit less algae, you know, especially if you're on a vinyl siding, you're going to do a 1-to-3, and then for really light, it's a 1-to-9. So highly concentrated. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to pump that up. We're going to go back over there. We'll check on our wonderful Zero Scrub technology and see if that works. If it does, like I said, we'll adopt it. Let's go check it out. All right, so here we go. This is the Zero Scrub technology. Guess what? It's still there. You can see where I ran my finger right here when I was kind of pushing the dirt around, but essentially it dried and just left their dirt there. Not a surprise. I don't know why they don't have a rinse cycle in here. So for all fairness, let's try something. Let's do another coat. I'm gonna let it soak on a little bit, but before it dries, we're gonna do a rinse using their rinse nozzle. Again, I don't want to use anything that we use in our process because, well, that would be, to me, that wouldn't be a fair comparison. So we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna apply their solution on here, their Zero Scrub technology. And before it dries, I'm gonna rinse it off and see if we can push the dirt off. Again, Zero Scrubbing technology. Let's give it a shot. All right, so I reapplied another layer here. Just to get a good coating on there. It's flashing pretty quick because we're in the direct sunlight here. So I'm gonna do one more, nice and soaked as per instructions. And then I'm going to flip over to their rinse nozzle, and rinse this off. This is a low pressure rinse. And again, I don't even know if our rinse pressure, which we rinse about 110 psi, that is the maximum that we go. And in my opinion, anything above, I would say 300 is considered high pressure in my world. That's why we are a soft wash technology. We just don't use pressure. We let the chemicals do the work, but unfortunately in this Hardie board instance, the chemicals aren't getting the complete results we want, so we have to scrub it. So this is a full rinse using the Scott's House and Siding Zero Scrub technology. As per instructions, I let it dry, and it didn't do anything but dry the dirt back on the Hardie board, so I don't see how that's relevant. Now I can see where maybe that they're saying that if you have a vinyl house and you need to get mold, mildew, any kind of organic growth off the house, you want that to kind of sit on there and kill that bacteria. And maybe over a 2 or 3 day period, you'll start to see that diminish. And maybe that's what they're referring to. But to get this dirt off, you're gonna have to rinse it. So that's what we're gonna do. We applied it, let it sit for a little longer. Right before it started flashing, we give it a good rinse. So I'm not seeing any more soap coming off that siding. I am seeing still a lot of dirt trapped on the board itself. In fact, I'll bring you a little bit closer to take a look at this. But so under here, if you can see that, hope that's picked up on camera. By me touching that, you can see that there's a layer of dirt. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. It's not the heavy dirt, it's the fine dirt. And the fine dirt is what makes this look dirty when the sun hits it. Now, if you come in here in the evening, obviously you're not going to see all that. Maybe a little bit because it's pretty heavy, but we got to scrub that down. Okay? So, I'm just not seeing that thing move off. Again, I just rinsed it, I applied it, I rinsed it, the dirt's still there. Now, obviously, if I'm scrubbing on it, you can see that it starts to come off the board, which is the achieved results. But again, you got to scrub it, right? So, lost my tape down here, it's fine. I still have this clean section here. We're going to put, let's do Scott's, the one I just loaded up. Let's go ahead and see how that works. I'm anticipating it's probably going to be similar results. I will be pulling my 110 rinse over here, just to give it a little bit more pressure. Obviously, if you're a homeowner, you're going to use your water hose, but let's give it a shot and see if we can get some movement on this dirt. Alrighty guys, I got the our wash rinse line moved over here, so we're going to have some decent rinse on this particular test. And we're dealing with the Scott's Outdoor Cleaner multi-purpose safe with a picture of Hardie board on here. Should be good, right? So let's give it a shot. Love these pump sprayers. They have a professional nipple you can put on here so you can actually compress this with air to get even more flow of it. I don't need it all the time, so I just prefer to use the pump. We're going to get some product on here. You can see this sprayer has a lot of nice coverage. And just FYI, I did paint test this before. And I'm just going to work this product down from the top here. And it's probably going to have a pretty fast reaction. The sun is kind of coming up right now. The Hardie board is getting a little bit warmer. I'm going to get underneath these areas real good. Now the directions on this is apply, let it dwell, don't let it dry, which is what I would expect, because you will get some residuals baked on. And you don't want that. That's a little, you just add more time and effort to your job. First glance here, I can see as I'm moving my fingers through this, I'm getting some dirt in those suds. But I got to be honest with you, I'm seeing no different than our products. Okay. So I could argue I could probably use this product and do our process. We apply it, we scrub it, we rinse it. It probably works. The thing I like about our products is that we have a biocide in there, we have an emulsifier. I know how well it works against spider webs, our Terra Wash. Even on some of the heavy dirt, it does wonders for it. So I'll continue to use it. I mean, our stuff works really good. It's got a wax on it, which I really like. I can tell you texturally, this doesn't feel as good as ours. It just feels kind of rough, like I'm just touching the Hardie board. I know when we wash ours, it gets kind of a nice texture, smooth texture to it. So it's doing its process. These two boards are the ones I'm laying my hands on, so I would expect those are going to be a little bit cleaner than the other ones. Remember, this corner had a lot of dirt. It was pretty heavy. I can still see that, so I can guarantee you that this product is not lifting the dirt off the Hardie board as instructed or as presented in their label here. It's still on there. And so let's see if removing it with pressure actually works. Okay, and what I mean by pressure is something a little bit more than your typical garden hose. So we use a agriculture pump here. It's about 110 psi. We get a nice flow of water. So I'm already seeing something pretty interesting. I'm seeing a little bit of streaking right in here. And that's just from the product flashing quicker than normal. We'll get a nice rinse on that. We can get that streaking off once we come back through and scrub it down. So let's let that dry and see what happens. Right now, it always looks fantastic wet. It always looks like it's clean. And I remember the first time I stumbled onto how dirty this Hardie board gets was on a dark blue house. And there's a video out there that I shot early on doing that home, and it was kind of a frustrating challenge because it kind of caught me off guard. I didn't realize that dark color held onto the dirt that much, and it turns out pretty much all the darker colors, your reds, your deeper greens like this, your blues, it just holds onto the dirt. Now I think the argument is that whites and tans, the lighter colors, they do hold onto the dirt as well. You just don't see it as much. Just like you would on a white car, if you get a fine dusting on the car, you just don't see it. Like on a black car, you would see that dusting instantly. Just shows it, right? So that kind of caught me off guard, and that's when I kind of went down this journey of like exactly what is the process to clean this stuff. And that's when I discovered that just simply applying chemicals doesn't work. You got to physically put on it. And that caused our prices to go up because instead of spending 2 hours on a house, we're now spending 6 to 8 hours on a house to get it the deep clean that most customers want. I do have people that I've showed up and I've presented the problem with Hardie board and how to clean it, and they just don't see the value in spending that much money to clean it. They'd rather just keep it dirty, and that's fine. That's their prerogative. But for people who own their house and they love it, and especially when you just bought this house is less than 2 years old, they want to see that original color. They want to see it clean. They want to see and enjoy the home as it was intended and not stuck with all this construction dirt. It's kind of a pain. So we're letting that dry, and kind of good news, I'm seeing a little bit better. Like, I mean, it did lift some dirt off, but then there's areas here where it's still got that layer of caked on dirt, which is not surprising. Again, I kind of went in this with the attitude, you know, if these things work, awesome. We found the solution to keep us from scrubbing. But if it doesn't, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. So we're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna get set up with the next test that we're going to do on this right side of the house here. And I'm just going to hit this section here. It's not as dirty. In fact, I might, actually, let's go over here. Let's do this section here. This is, I just rinsed that, but you can still see there's a lot of dirt in that corner. So we're going to go with the Simple Safe, not Simple Safe, that's an alarm company. Simple Green OxyClean cleaner, and let's see, and let's that tackle and see what happens there. But I got to tell you, I'm kind of happy with how this is looking. It's not as, I mean, it's still dirt on there, right? But it did a pretty good job. This resembles pretty close to what our stuff does. But again, I really like our stuff because this still feels like it's got granules all over it. This feels chalky. You can see how there's still a lot of dirt on there. I mean, it did get it clean, but not as clean just from our process, which I'll show you on another section of the house, and then we'll go into the deep process again and show you that this is the solution to fix and address this Hardie board. So let's get that other pump sprayer loaded up and go from there. Okay, so I can already tell that the Scots that we just applied on here actually did lift a little bit of the dirt off. You can still see there's a nice hue that's going on in comparison to this other side of the building here. Okay, just like before, we're gonna work our way down. I'm gonna hit this corner a little heavier. So we have a lot of buildup. We get a nice coat on here, nice and thick. I can see the layer of dirt through this. I'm already starting to see it flash. The siding's warming up. The sun's behind me. This is an area that we'll have to move fairly quick. But according to the instructions, apply, let set, do not let it dry. And they said rinse off as soon as you start to see it dry. So I'm trying to get that a little bit more longer dwell time, but unfortunately the sun has different plans and it's not letting it dwell a whole lot. So we'll just keep it wet here until I burn through this bottle. Kind of let the chemicals do the work. So I'm starting to see it flash a little bit. It's starting to dry. I'm going to go ahead and hit this. And when I'm rinsing, what I'm looking for is just trying to get as much of the product off. You're never going to get 100% off. There'll always be a little bit of residual. Rinsing for me is one of the things that takes the longest because I've had experience where I didn't rinse as well as I should have, and then I end up with product left over on it, baked on, and then you got to do a lot of scrubbing to get it off. It comes off, you're just adding more work to your job here. So that's looking pretty good. I'm not seeing more product on there. Do one more rinse. And I can say, out of all of them, this probably worked the least. This was the professional grade. This is the $30 bottle I bought off of the Amazon. Simple Green. I love Simple Green. I think there's a lot of purposes for it. I just don't think it's going to solve our problem here in Colorado. Alrighty, so this was the side we did just with the $8 bottle, 8.5, somewhere in there, it doesn't really matter. The Zero Scrub Technology by Scott's dirt remover for cement siding, composite siding, which is what we're working with today. And you can see we've got some residual from the first time, kind of strand down here. So after even reapplying a second, doing a full rinse on this thing, it didn't do anything. In fact, I think I could argue it probably made it look worse because now you got dirt and then you got the product stuck on there. So coming over here to the next level up, Scott's multi-purpose cleaner, the Safe Solution, the one that had actual Hardie board on the label. I think it did a pretty decent job. There's still a lot of dirt. You can see that, okay? Especially down here, right up under the riffles there. Over here, just nice cake of dirt still. And my suspicion is that Simple Green is going to leave the same kind of residue. And again, getting back to the one thing I say all the time, I'm sure I'm probably repeating myself. In order to get this Hardie board clean, you've got to put a brush to it. So all this is going to get brushed down today. How fun is that? 6 to 8 hours, maybe a little bit longer, because I shot this video. This video ate up about an hour of my time. But I felt it important to show you guys, you know, that just buying an off-the-shelf product doesn't work. You know, you can go do that, spend your money, spray your house down, try to save yourself some money, which I get. But basically, you just spent 30 bucks and you achieved pretty much nothing. Nothing transpired from it. So that's when you call the professionals out. It's when you call us. We come out, we apply, and we will scrub every single one of these boards to the best we can possibly get it. I tell customers we get about 98% of the dirt off. There will be parts that we miss. We just don't see it. We try to get it all. Our brushes can only get in the little nooks and crannies so far. But for the most part, we'll get this looking nice and proper. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I will show you probably zero, because this has been a long video, of our cleaning process. I've got another video out there. I think I showed a little bit how we scrub things down. But I will get on here when we're done and show you the after. So let me pull back here, give you some reference here. This is the back of the house. This is the single car garage, double car garage, and we'll do a before and after of what this looks like once I'm done with it. Alrighty guys, we're wrapped up here on this home in northern Windsor. Our famous, fabulous, fun Hardie board to clean. And I'm going to show you exactly the final results on this corner we did all of our testing on. And obviously earlier in the video you saw us trying to apply those chemicals, see if we can get them to actually lift the dirt off without scrubbing. Of course, I kind of already knew this going into it because I've had a lot of experience with this Hardie board, that probably was not going to happen, and it didn't. I was hoping it'd been great to have an alternative product to use that just makes my job a lot easier. But unfortunately, there was just no go. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and I'll show you the area that we finalized on, a little bit about the house, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so this is the section that we completed. We get a weird glare right here. That's off a window on this next house, just a FYI. But as you can see, we managed to get all the dirt from underneath each one of these little sections on this Hardie board and the layered dirt, bringing out its intended color. So it actually looks, I thought it had a green hue in it, but I think it was the dirt with the combination. This is actually a gray. It's like almost a lighter gray. It does have a green hue in it, but not bad, not much. Not as bad as it was with the dirt. And if you remember this section over here, this was pretty dirty. And again, it's not noticeable at night as much, but when the sun hits it, you'll definitely see the dirt on there. And I think you saw that earlier in the video. So good job on that. This looks really good. I'm pretty happy with it. The color is amazing on this house. And again, the dirt hides that color pretty bad. Let's see, got all the windows done. Someone asked for a kind of a quick overview how we do our windows, and I'll try to remember to do that on the next house. But got all that cleaned up there as well. This is a painful process. Painstaking, it's a lot of work. It's not my favorite house to do just because the amount of work. We put literally probably 9 hours into this yesterday. And I say we, I say me, I was by myself, so I could probably cut that back a few hours if I had some help. So a good 6 to 8 hours is what I usually tell people that it takes to get these houses clean. So all good. Windows done, home looks fabulous, all the dirt removed. So I hope that helps you guys. I would love to hear some comments on what you thought of these videos, of this particular video, or any of the videos that we're doing. Again, I'm trying to provide more and more content, not only for my clients, but for anybody who cares to watch what we do and our process. So again, Mountain View Softwash, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment below, and if you would, please subscribe. It helps us out quite a bit. Trying to grow the channel, just trying to get some more viewership here. That way I can help people who are either getting into the business or someone who's in the business, and kind of sharing ideas back and forth. And I'm always open. If you guys got suggestions on a better way to clean this Hardie board than how we're doing it, please, by all means, let us know. We'd love to hear it. All right, take care.